Today on the pod, my guest is Ohio State true freshman softball player Kortokrax. Kimmy talks about why she chose Ohio State, why girls should get involved in sports at a young age, and what she plans on doing when her playing days are over. Hope you enjoy. Welcome to the Bases Loaded podcast. I'm your host, Gabe Kennedy, and today my guest is Kortokrax. Kimmy, how's it going?
Good. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So tell us where you go to college and what are you studying?
So I go to Ohio State, and I'm studying communication and like sports broadcasting type deal.
Good deal. And obviously playing some softball there too, correct?
Yep. Just for fun. Nice game. Yep. Definitely a softball player here.
Good deal. Good deal. So how are classes going so far? Is it, were you pretty excited to get back into the swing of things?
Yeah, I was definitely really excited because just the whole school vibe. It was a new experience that I was really ready for. Doing the same thing for 4 years I loved high school, really fun, but I was definitely ready for a change. And I asked for most of the in-person classes, and I got that. So that was definitely a good part, was the in-person classes.
Absolutely. So did you do, you probably did some of the online stuff in high school, right? Was that a struggle for you, or were you able to kind of maintain it?
Oh, it was definitely a struggle because it's like the whole motivation loss was like really gone. I didn't have I'm more of a hands-on type of person. So not being in person, sitting there being forced to pay attention off your phone and things like that. You know, like when you're here, it's a lot easier to just like look down and like get on your phone. But like in class, you're there, present, all that good stuff. So most definitely an in-person type.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what are some misconceptions so far of college? Is it easy? Is it difficult? Do we not know yet? Is it busy? Are you stressed out?
Yeah, well, right now it's still like pretty fresh. We're super fresh. We're pretty like 3 weeks in now on the 4th week. So everything's still, I'm like getting the hang of things now. But honestly, I went to private high school, so it was pretty challenging academically. And so here I feel pretty much like in control. I don't feel overwhelmed academically. But workouts and lifting and practices have definitely absolutely 110% like intensified as far as the length and the work. But obviously at the end of the day, you're still just playing softball, you're in the weight room. So it's nothing overbearing by any means. And it's just, yeah. So, I mean, I think it's pretty manageable if you, and they just give you a lot of resources to help you manage your time in school, and like coaches and training staff, they all help you out. So it's been really, really good adjustment.
Good stuff. So explain your love for sports. How did you get obsessed with playing softball?
Yeah, so my parents were big into sports. My dad played, and he played in like the NBA Summer League, and he was the last one cut from the Lakers. So he's really big into basketball and all that. My mom played softball in high school, and I have an older brother who's only a year older than me, so we're really close, and he always played sports like baseball and basketball. So our family just kind of got into it. I mean, everyone on my dad's side is pretty much 6 feet and taller, and they all play basketball. So that wasn't an option for me. You know, it was basketball. So I played basketball and softball too. I just started with t-ball and all that stuff. But then I think a key as to why I really fell in love with it was my parents allowed me to. It wasn't super serious at a young age or anything like that. I know I see a lot nowadays when I'm at facilities or if I'm helping coaching, whatever I'm doing, I see parents like really getting hard on their kids who are like 8 or younger sometimes. And I'm like, I never had that, and I'm playing softball at Ohio State, and I love it. And so I think my mom and my dad allowing me to really like fall in love with the game and enjoy what I'm doing first, and then realize the potential I had from the sport was a big part as to why I love it so much. And then obviously all the people I've met along the way and all the memories that I've made, I feel like nothing else could have brought me that like happiness in those memories in sports.
I'd say with so many family members being active in sports, you didn't really have much of a choice, right?
No, you should see our family gatherings when we play at Thanksgiving football or things like that. I mean, it's competitive. Even card games, everything is competitive in my family.
Love it, love it. So Thanksgiving morning, you guys are like stretching out, getting ready to go.
Yes. I mean, we had one year we had like lines, like people, like someone did lines they bought a bunch of chalk and lined out a football field because there's arguments the year before, like if it was in or out. And so like we lined it all up and everything.
Love
Even
it. Love
Easter egg hunt competitive.
it. Love it. Love it. So when you guys are playing like football on Thanksgiving, is there like a one person of the family that everybody wants to be on their team? Like, is there like a stud uncle?
There are many. You know, my dad's a pretty big guy, but he doesn't move very well anymore. He's not big on the running type, but I mean, he's pretty big, so he's a pretty good pick. And then my brother's pretty good, just because he's such a tryhard. He always wants to go. He always wants. So he's a pretty good pick, but not as big as me. You know, my agility.
Sure,
First
sure,
rounder.
sure. Oh, love it, love it, love it. So you kind of mentioned a couple already, but who's helped you out so far in your sports career?
Yeah, so my mom's a big cheerleader for me, and she really supports me a lot. But I say my dad has just been that one person in my life who 110% would help me in any way he could, anytime, no matter when. If he had the second to help me out, he would 100%. We hit, especially when COVID hit, we hit like almost every single day because, yeah, my junior softball high school season got taken away, but I had my summer softball coming up, and that losing my high school season wasn't an excuse as to not be ready for summer. So I mean, he was the one person I hit with every single day leading up to summer ball, and even like just throughout the year, he's the one person I hit with. He'd take me to hitting lessons. He'd be front tossing behind the screen, like no matter how he was feeling, how cold it was. I mean, we were out there it was freezing, or we tried to beat the rain, but like it was hit or miss sometimes. But my dad for sure has just been 110% my person when it comes to helping me out in any way in sports and things like that. And I just owe so much to him. And then obviously coaches. One of my favorite coaches has been Chad Moran. He was my travel coach, and he really, I think, took my game to the next level. He picked me up from a more local travel team and took me to a team based out of Chicago. And I'm from Ohio. So, and all these girls on the team, I mean, all but I think around three were committed to big D1 power schools. So, and I was uncommitted yet. So, I mean, it was intimidating, but he never allowed me to feel like I shouldn't have been there. So he really pushed me to become better too. So I owe a lot to him too.
Absolutely. So with that, you're talking about travel ball. When did you know that you belonged? Because it had to have been a little bit scary, intimidating, like you said. When did it all of a sudden click and be like, okay, yeah, I got this. I can do this.
Yeah, I would say in 8th grade, I would say 8th grade. I came to the laser. No, 7th grade. 7th grade, I came to lasers. So I was on a super duper small team, and then like it was like super small, just like no one had heard of them. And I tried out for this lasers team, which is a local big name in Ohio. And I tried out for them, and the coach came up to me and was like, You're not where our girls are, but like you potential." And I was like, "Oh, really? Cool." So I was like, so I joined that team. I started bottom of the lineup, and I got in some innings, but it was like bottom of the lineup and started innings. I worked my way up to batting third in the lineup and playing every inning of shortstop. And I remember the first game where I was batting third and like looking in the lineup, and I was like, I just remember being so proud. Like all 1 through 9, 1 through 12, when we were batting, it's all good. But I mean, watching your way move up, I mean, you have something to keep working for. I went from 12 to 10 to 6, and I keep moving up. And so once I finally hit that spot, I was just super proud of where I was, and I was like, I just want to keep going on whatever team. And then when I joined the Bandits team, it was the same thing. You know, I wasn't the top big commit anymore. I could have stayed like where I was and batting third, or I could have restarted and gone back to the bottom and had to earn the playing time all over again. And I chose to do that. And that decision helped me even more, like work my way up to where I was batting third for this team and playing shortstop again. So
Good stuff. Good stuff. You mentioned missing out on your junior year of high school because of the COVID stuff. Did you, is that something where your senior year, you're like, holy smokes, man, this could be taken away any moment. Like just cherish every at bat, even though they're intentionally walking you, but still cherish every at bat, every inning. Was that kind of how you looked at it?
yeah, it was definitely for me. It was losing my junior year almost in a way felt as if my senior year, just because there were 6 seniors at the time when I was a junior, and I'd been on varsity since I was a freshman. So those 6 seniors were who I was really close with, and I was the only girl in my grade who played softball because the other one got hurt, or the other ones were on JV. So I was the only freshman with this group. So I was super duper close with all these girls. So I just remember like them leaving, and then the first practice I came back to softball because I played basketball, so I came back later than the rest. So the first practice I walked back, there was only one other girl I had played with in a game with my high school on the team, and everyone else was like brand new. And I was just like, remember, I was like, I didn't even know who to throw with. Like, it was just like, I was just like, wow. Like, I was like, this is literally, and a new coach. So it was just a whole new situation. I mean, you just got to make the most of it and reach out. I think they were a little scared of me at first, some of these freshmen. So I for sure had to let them know that there's nothing to be scared of. Like, it is what it is.
Well, they were scared because you walked in and you're kind of looking around and they're like, what's their problem? And you're like, I'm looking for a throwing partner. I don't know who you are. Right?
They're like looking away. They're like, not me.
Oh, that's awesome. So up to this point, what are you most proud of athletically?
Yeah, I'm proud of I've been proud of a lot of the teams I've been on in general, and just the accomplishments we've had as a team. But individually, my senior year, I got academic All-Ohio in basketball, and that was a huge accomplishment to me just because for so many years, I felt like I was a softball player playing basketball. And then once I made the realization that I can really excel in basketball too and be that player my team can depend on. Once I realized that, and I really wanted to step up my game, and I devoted time to working on that a lot while I was putting in tons of time into softball. That was a great accomplishment because that was also academically too. So that applied my grades into it and how hard I worked for those. So that was a big accomplishment. But then my favorite sports memory that I was super proud of and will always be proud of was freshman year, when I was up to bat against one of our biggest rivals in our league for every sport, DeSales. It was one of our biggest games. And we were down. We were losing by 4. And I was up to bat with bases loaded. And I just remember I was talking to my friend on the team before, and they were like, yeah, our coach isn't really worried about you because you're a freshman and all this stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, that's interesting. She was like, yeah, I tried to tell her like where to throw to you, but she said she's not worried. I was like, okay. Like, I don't know. I was like, okay. So I was up there with bases loaded, and I hit a grand slam to tie up the game. And I just remember trying to run around the bases as fast as I could to get back to my team that was all gathered on home plate waiting for me. And we ended up winning that game. We had a few other players like step up, big hits. Our pitcher struck out the last bat of the game, and like it was just an unbelievable feeling. Like, we all dogpiled and everything, and that was one of my proudest accomplishments too.
Awesome stuff. Okay, that's the good stuff. What about embarrassing? Everyone's got something embarrassing that's happened to them in sports. What do you think of when that comes to the question comes up?
I definitely have a few things that I won't be able to live down, but one of them comes when I was probably 8 or 7, and my high school had like little league teams. So it was girls who I would end up playing with in high school and things like that further down the line. That's why I was so close to the seniors ahead. I played with them when I was really young. I played up with them. So I was playing up with them, and I'm just a little 8th grader, and I think it was 10U, and I would, it's 10U. The rules changed. Some rules I didn't know about. So I was up to bat, and I struck out swinging, and I'm walking back to the dugout, and all of a sudden I'm hearing them, the catcher dropped the strike for drop 3, drop the strike, you run, which I know now. But back then, everyone at dugout's yelling at me to run. I started running back to the dugout. I grab my bat. I'm sprinting into the dugout. I'm like going in there, and they all just start laughing, and then they're losing it. Our coach is like dying at third base. We're on the third base dugout. She just came up to me. She was like, when the catcher drops the third strike, you run to first, not back to the dugout. And we were all just laughing about it. But so that was something I never lived down because those were all the girls, and I just heard that for the next, I don't know how many years, up to senior year.
So when that happened, were you like emotional, or were you just like, oh my gosh, this is awful?
Well, it helped me get over the strikeout pretty quick because I was so like stunned of what I was being yelled at to run. I was like, oh, okay. So, but it was just, I was 8, so I was trying to, be cool and everything. So I was just like, oh, okay, I got you. But then, like, the more I thought about it, the more funny it was. And the girls on the team were all super cool. So we were all just laughing about it.
Good stuff. Explain your recruiting story. Everyone's got a story. Talk a little bit about the visits and why you settled in on Ohio State.
Yeah, so I was definitely very fortunate to have a variety of schools I got to visit and look at and talk to and earn offers from, and it was definitely super exciting process. And I loved every minute of it, and I tried to enjoy as much as I could. And I honestly can say I loved every single school I visited. Um, they were all amazing schools, and I enjoyed being on every single one. But for me personally, like that was different because a lot of people told me like you'll have that feeling when you get to the school, you'll know. And I honestly don't think I ever had that feeling because I feel like I loved every school and like I had the potential to be happy at every school. But so all the schools were amazing. But when I took my visit at Ohio State, I mean, I had some lined up like after to like talk to them about it. But after I took my visit at Ohio State, I like went home and I was thinking about it, and I was like for the next 4 years, I'm gonna play softball out of school. I'm gonna graduate from a school academically. Like those things are the same, but like what's different? And for me, I wanted to be happy. This is 4 years. I'm gonna be away from home. I'm gonna be away from my close friends I spent the past 4 years with. I mean, I want to be somewhere with people that will really make me happy because I'm a huge people person. So I just looked at who would like where I'd be the happiest based on who would make me happy and like the friendships I'd have and the people I can count on for 4 years. And Ohio State was that place. You know, you can really tell a lot when you visit and meet the girls on the team. And I think the class ahead is just all amazing. And they really took me in under their wing before I had made my decision. Either like the girls I visited, they were just let me know if you need anything. They would reach out after. My class of girls, I absolutely love. I got to play with one in the summer who I love. I room with one of my absolute best friends who's on the team. So Ohio State just had the people where I feel like would be happy or that would make me happy. And then obviously it's Ohio State. So from there, I mean, there's just no other place I'd really rather be at right now.
So is that something where there's going to be like a friendly rivalry? Because you're probably going to see a lot of people that, you know, other girls that you played with or against on the travel ball circuit, and in high school, you're going to be going up against them. Is that something where, you know, you kind of know each other and it's like, hey, how's it going? But we'll talk after the game.
Yeah, no, 100%. I was just on the phone. I was hitting before this, and I was just on the phone with my friend Cece, who I played with a while ago, and she goes to OU, and we play OU in the fall coming up. So I was talking to her roommate Maddie and her, who I used to play with Maddie too, and another girl who's a freshman here, Reagan, played with Maddie. So like we all kind of know each other, and then obviously my summer team, every single one was committed to a D1 school, so like. So obviously we're going to see each other. I mean, whether it's ACC, Big Ten, SEC, I mean, I know girls in almost every league and MAC. I mean, I Big Ten, obviously. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the girls I know because it just is really cool. And I remember last year because I played with a bunch of girls who are a year older than me and like watching them on all their social media and seeing what they're doing and being like, wow, like how proud and excited you are for all your friends doing big things.
Absolutely. So what's your sales pitch for girls to play sports? How important is it?
So honestly, 110% to me, I would say girls should play sports. Like you get a lot of stereotype, like, do dance or sing or something like that. And those are amazing things. But I would encourage parents to give your daughter the opportunity to fall in love with a sport like I did because I can't imagine my life going any other way. I absolutely love sports, and I am 110% grateful for my parents for not only encouraging me to play sports, but supporting me constantly, like through the rest of my life to keep playing sports because I fell in love with it. So 110%, I just would, there's so many good things that have happened with sports as far as friendships, becoming more outgoing, working hard, staying determined, staying focused on a goal and what you want. You know, I had to say no a lot growing up to hanging out with friends, to going to parties, to going to festivals. I had to say no a lot because I had softball. But in the long run, and it was hard at the time because, you know, I've had to do this since about 6th grade. And so back then, you know, it's hard because you see all your friends hanging out and everything. And like, you're out of town, you're playing softball, you're at tournaments. You're waking up at 7 in the morning to go to a tournament when all your friends are getting ready to go to a festival later that day. So it was a different life. and it's not for everyone, but I honestly could never see my life going a different direction just because of the opportunity it's given me and the people in my life I've met through sports, and the happiness being a part of a team has brought me is just something I don't think any other aspect of life could have brought me than sports, as far as just being on a team and working for a goal and being determined. And I'd say it helped me a lot academically too, because sports has made me so competitive, where like at school, it wasn't always like I wanted to study to be the smartest kid, but I mean, I wanted to get an A. I didn't want to fail. Like I wanted to be successful in whatever I was doing in life. And I feel like a big part of that was sports encouraging me to like keep working hard and moving up. So I think it's 110% super important for parents, especially, to help get their daughters involved in sports, because there's so many just opportunities for friendships, not even like encouraging them to just have to play all the time, but just play and like see if they like it and meet new friends that'll last so long, and the memories just are irreplaceable, honestly. So, and there's not really like any reason I can see for not wanting your daughter to play sports. Like there's not one good reason I have. So I just encourage parents completely to get their daughters involved.
Good stuff. Do you have any superstitions or pregame rituals for softball or for basketball when you played in high school?
Yeah. So I don't really. I do have some superstitions. Like for basketball, I would have to listen to the same playlist over and over again before, just because like in basketball it was all about being aggressive, and like I would have to like turn my swag on and be like walking in the gym, like I had my Jordans on, I had earpods in, like hoodie on. I was like, yeah, what's up? So I was like getting that superstition. I had to be like that. But then for softball, definitely superstitious, as far as if something's not working, I have to change something. I have to take a bracelet off. I have to put it on the opposite hand. I have to put my right batting glove on before my left one next time, or put my helmet on before my batting gloves next time. Just change something, so when I go up, it's like fresh start, let's go, and something like that. And then also, as far as like a superstition, but when I was younger, I saw my brother started making a cross in the dirt when he'd go up to bat. And so that's something I started doing from him, and I still do to this day. I just do a little cross, take a deep breath, and then I just like settle in and get ready. So that's something else.
So are you ever like, when you're in the box getting ready to go, you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot to do something. I forgot to do one of my, tighten the gloves up or something like that. And you call time real quick.
Oh yeah. For me, it's not about for me, it's not as big about being nervous, because I trust myself, I feel like, but it's about feeling good. So if I'm not feeling good, I'll stay time. I'll undo my batting glove, turn it so that it feels good, take a breath, take a swing or two, and I'm in there feeling good, ready to go. But yeah, I definitely sometimes have to just restart, take a breath, undo the batting glove or two, and then get in there ready to go. Feel good about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you're kind of a big deal on social media. Honestly, do you feel pressure to keep up with posting stuff?
Yeah, so I do feel pressure more of what I post rather than keeping up with it, because I think it's so fun. It's funny getting my teammates involved and friends involved in my social media, especially TikTok. But I definitely feel pressure in what I post, just knowing that a lot of people are viewing my story, but more importantly, younger girls, especially in sports, are viewing it. So, Ohio State, our teams come up with some policies that we believe in, and obviously I follow those and use those, but own policies too, with like just as far as bad words and like certain content, things like that. I realized that my platforms affect a lot of people, and I get a lot of younger girls contacting me, softball players, and my DMs on Instagram, or just messaging me on any platform, asking for advice or recruiting, talking about they see me on TikTok and they just wanted to say hi, that I'm playing at their dream school and they want to know what they can do to get there and like what I've done, or just ask me questions about anything. And so it definitely opened my eyes, being on social media, the impact that I can have. So I just want to continue having that impact on these girls.
So anytime you're getting kind of sluggish with posting stuff on TikTok, you're like, man, people are out there waiting, waiting to see something new. So you got to deliver, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm definitely thinking, I'm like, I gotta come up with a good TikTok here.
Love it.
I'm like waiting for our media day so I can get in uniform, and then I'm like, yeah, then I'm in my heyday.
And yeah, and then you're good to go. You got some content for a while, you know?
Yeah, and my teammates would be like, come on, we have to make a TikTok with me. I'm like, all right, bet. I'm 100% in. So we like send TikToks back and forth, and we're like be practicing, and like when our time comes, we'll do it together.
I was gonna say, how much practice goes into that?
You know, you'd be surprised because you gotta get those dance moves, or some little kids will be very rude in the comments. Be like, you are not a good dancer, and I do not want that. I do not want to get roasted by anyone of that aspect.
So are you nervous before you post it, just in case someone's like gonna light you up? Are you nervous?
100%. And sometimes with spelling too. Sometimes I just be like typing fast, and TikTok just like added the autocorrect filter, but it wasn't there before. So I've like misspelled things and just been absolutely like lit up in the comments. Like, oh, sorry. But sorry, the video got 30,000 likes, so I'm not deleting it. And you can like edit it once it's out there. So I just leave it.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So once your playing days are finished, what do you plan on doing?
So I love to travel. So I've honestly thought about once I finish playing overseas in Italy for a couple of months, I feel like that'd be a cool experience just for like being overseas and getting to play because of softball. So I feel like that'd be cool for a little bit. But then after that, or before that, whatever works out, I love sports. I talked about how much I love sports, and it's such a big part of my life that I want to stay in sports. So I would love to be a sideline reporter, sports broadcaster, sports anchor, all those good things. I definitely want to do that. So that's what I'm striving for. Maybe ESPN one day, big. I don't know. But that's definitely, and I say my mom had a big influence on that as far as she was a news anchor, and I got to go around the station a little bit and just see how she encountered people. And she took me to football Friday night games when I was a little girl, and I got to watch her be on TV with the microphone, and that definitely had a lasting impact on me. And I could honestly also see me coaching in the far future, and my dad's a coach. So I think I just can't say enough of how positive my parents have influenced me and how grateful I am for the experience they've given me and the life that they've given me.
So with coaching, I think you mentioned before during our pre-pod interview, did you help out at all with clinics and stuff like that for younger kids? How'd that go? How'd you like that?
Yeah, so the previous high school coach at Hartley, who I've known for years, that stepped down because of her kids, because of how many kids she was having. She wanted to be a part of she wanted to stay at home with them. So she asked me this previous year to help coach her daughter's team, an 8U team over at Bo Jackson and Hilliard. And I was like, oh, 100% for sure. Like when I can, I was like, I don't know because I'll be super busy. But she was like, I just want you to be a person that these girls can look up to and see and work and strive, because this was 8U. And in my head, I don't know what I was expecting, but 8U is very, very young. I mean, most of these girls are 7 and they haven't touched, like, thrown a ball, and they were scared of the ball a little bit because it's being thrown at them. They're not used to it. It's a new experience. And so they're very easily molded, and they watch and they learn and they copy what you do. And like, there's all these things that they're doing. So the first day was kind of just an eye-opening experience. And I was like, wow, like, but I absolutely loved it because these little girls have been just sunshine, raised a little sunshine. I mean, they came to watch me play in high school. I was absolutely just surprised. I was up to bat and I hear all these little voices behind the dugout just screaming. I'm like, what is going on? And then I hit a home run, and I kid you not, I go back and like watch my bats for learning like film and stuff. So I'm watching my at bat, and I can just hear the entire time, like before I even hit, like, go Kimmy, yeah, Coach Kimmy. And then like as I'm running, literally screaming, like it sounds like they're just being chased from me, but like they're just screaming, like playing tag or something like that. But I mean, it was like the cutest video, and like I have it on my phone, like I'll keep it forever. But that opportunity was definitely one I'm very grateful I had to experience.
So did you go over the drop third strike with them? Was that like the day one? Is that what you did day one?
You know, they're still used to they don't have to run. That's not an option for them yet. So they were just like me. So maybe I should before they step up.
Be like, one day this is going to come into your life, and I don't want it to hit you like a ton of bricks like it did me. you know?
Yeah, I should definitely. That is a great point to make because I don't want anyone to go through that.
Love it. All right, Cammie, thanks a lot for being on the podcast, and best of luck to you in the future.
Thank you so much for having me. I really, really appreciate it. This was great.
Thanks a lot for listening to another episode of the Bases Loaded podcast. And be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Bases Podcast.